Hello, I'm iamYannC, and you are listening to episode 29 of the Our Weekly Highlights podcast. Today we are covering the highlights for issue 2021-W09, released on March 1st, 2021. This week's issue was curated by Ryo Nakakawara with help from the Our Weekly team members and contributors. Within the vast world of statistics, there is no shortage of sometimes surprising relationships among different theoretical constructs and modeling frameworks. Those who have studied statistics in a graduate school course may have fond or not so fond memories of deriving estimators and approximations to uncover the paths to these linkages. While some concepts, such as sample statistics approximating to the ubiquitous normal distribution counterparts, can be demonstrated succinctly in theoretical and practical demonstrations, other claims can lead to head-scratching moments. Tristan Marr, a language and data scientist whose excellent take on the power of lists in R was a recent highlight in episode 26 of this very podcast, experienced a similar feeling with the increasingly prevalent claim that random effects from a mixed effects model and penalized smoothing splines seen in generalized additive models are actually equivalent. Tristan has pondered the backstory of this statement since last August and has written a wonderfully practical post on his blog for our first highlight today. While it is beyond the scope of this podcast to dive deep into the theory behind these complex features, the approach Tristan uses to investigate the ideas serves as an ideal template for leveraging R's unparalleled statistical capabilities and visualization prowess to explore the world of statistics. On the mixed effect modeling side, a combination of the BRMS and tidyverse packages are used to assess the concepts of pooling random effects using a real-world dataset of radon measurements, while the powerful MGCV package is leveraged to perform the generalized additive model fits with ggplot2 powered visualizations of the affectionately named wiggles corresponding to the smoothing decomposition of a predictor's effect. After setting up background on each model paradigm, Tristan ties it all together with a blend of linear algebra derivations and clear visuals to show how a key hyperparameter can bridge the connection between the smooths of a generalized additive model and the random effects of a mixed effects model. You are invited to read Tristan's post in full detail to absorb the full investigation of this concept, and he provides links to a handful of excellent references that dive deep into the many of the individual steps in this journey. Speaking of using visualization to enhance an overall story, our second highlight today brings an R-powered artistic approach for a unique introduction. Back in episode 17 of this podcast, we saw how ggplot2 could bring a breath of virtual fresh air to a curriculum vitae. Shannon Peligi recently took on the weekly curation reins of the global R Ladies Twitter account and wanted to do something unique for introducing herself by creating an animated map of her various residences in the US via the ggtext and gganimate packages. The end-to-end process is documented on her blog, with clear steps on obtaining the fonts and setting up the mapping layers with an assortment of geoms available in these packages. Lastly, she stitches everything together with a use of the wonderfully powerful gganimate package to give a little extra pizzazz to a very neat visualization to kick off her curating efforts. It's yet another example of how R can not just visualize statistical concepts in the traditional sense, but it can serve as a great tool set for a great piece of data-driven art as well. Rounding out our highlights for today, one of the cornerstones of the tidyverse, dplyr, has a lot of excellent extensions available that enable a statistician or data scientist to write intricate and complex data pipeline code and be able to translate that to different situations to be able to decouple it from the actual computation of those pipelines. A few of those excellent packages that connect dplyr to multiple backends have received significant updates, and RStudio's chief scientist Hadley Wickham provides coverage of the key updates to these packages in their latest version of the Tidyverse blog. First up is an exciting update in which the multi-dplyr package version 0.1.0 has now been released on CRAN. Multi-dplyr is an excellent package that lets you take advantage of your computer's multiple CPU cores to be able to spread data pipeline analyses across those cores. It provides an intuitive syntax to establish this, what you may consider a cluster of cores, and be able to group or otherwise partition your data frame and then be able to process certain dplyr operations such as group bys, summaries, mutates, etc., and be able to take advantage of running these processes in parallel across the different CPU cores. There is a bit of overhead to be watching out for when you set up this set of clusters the first time, but it can lead to pretty significant gains in time saved if you take this approach. This is obviously early days for the package, so there will likely be much more updates coming in the future. Next up, version 1.1.0 of the dtplyr package has received updates. This is the package that provides dplyr pipelines that are translated into data.table code. Data.table has been one of the very important cornerstones in the R community for efficient data processing and data manipulation. This release is a milestone in that many of the dplyr 1.0 functions are now available to be able to be translated into DT code, such as the across, if_any, and if_all functions. Hadley provides examples to how these functions are translated into DT code, which you can see very easily in your analyses by running the show query function anytime after a pipeline. Lastly, version 2.1.0 of the dbplyr package has received updates. This is the package that translates dplyr pipelines into SQL code to be able to run dplyr pipelines across a multitude of databases. The biggest news of updates to this package is the availability of translations to tidyr functions such as pivot longer, pivot wider, complete, and replace NA. There are also improvements to additional functions such as the across function, and there are other handful of minor improvements that you can find in the release notes of this package. Combining dplyr with databases is becoming a very important trend seen across many industries in which complex and oftentimes very large data sets are stored in these databases, but having dbplyr package available gives data scientists the capability of using their newfound knowledge of tidyverse pipelines to be able to perform complex and very innovative data analysis pipelines in these excellent backends. And those are your R Weekly highlights for today. As usual, you're going to find an assortment of excellent other stories and resources available in this issue, such as a roundup of the top 40 new packages on CRAN, a very intriguing package for simulating NFL data for analysis, exploring demographic employment data with a k-means approach, and much more. The month of March is kicking off strong with R Weekly, and as usual, you can find this release and as well as previous issues all on our website of rweekly.org. You are also invited to check out the back catalog of this very podcast, and you never know when you start to see multiple members of the R community have multiple highlights that were mentioned in this episode. And to be sure you don't miss a new episode coming out, be sure to subscribe to the podcast feed where you can find all the links for subscribing on the podcast page directly linked on the aforementioned rweekly.org site. And if you find value in listening to this short roundup of the awesome R community, give it a little like on social media and share it with your friends. That is a very effective way to spread the word of R Weekly, and we greatly appreciate it. Have a great week, and we will be back with another batch of R Weekly highlights next week.